everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to paint this holiday bike in winter. We're going to have a bike with a basket and a little tiny mini Christmas tree in it with a pretty red ribbon. So we're going to be working on a 16 by 20 canvas. At least that's the size of canvas I'm working on today, but of course you can paint this on any other size that you like. Keep in mind that the proportions may change a little bit, and overall it might look a little bit different than what I'm showing you today on this size of canvas. I have pre-painted a canvas with slate gray. I applied 2 coats of slate gray. I let it dry. You can use a lighter shade of gray or even darker if you like. Now let's go over the colors we're going to be using for this painting tutorial. I'll be using a number 50 Filbert brush as well to start working on the background. We've got neon red, crimson red, Mars black, burnt sienna, yellow ochre, light olive green, titanium white, light blue violet. I'll have a full list below in the description box of this video. So I just want to start by getting this brush a little bit wet. And what I want to start doing is coming in with the shadows before I add the bright snow after. So blue violet's a really go-to choice for me. It's quite pretty. And it's going to look nice with the warm tones that we've got in this painting today. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this blue and I'm going to add a little bit down here where the bike is going to be. So we've got the gray for shadows, but we've also got this beautiful blue. Keep in mind you don't want to have too much water in your brush, otherwise it'll look very dull once it dries. I'm not painting solid. You can see little bits of gray underneath. And then I'm going to come across up in the sky and just add some patchy looking streaks. It'll just help tie in all of the other colors all over the canvas. I have a little bit of the blue up in the sky, a little bit around the bike, maybe for some other shadows. And I'm going to take just a little bit of white without washing my brush off, and I'll choose a few areas here to blend into some of the blue. Let's make that color just a little bit more white this time. And I'll add a few areas up here as well. Okay, so now I'm ready to start coming in with the next step. And we're just going to go right in, freehand the bike. Now I want you guys to know that you can approach how you paint things, images, structures, objects in your paintings by sketching out first if you like and pre-planning. I really enjoy freehand, so I always tell people I do sketch. I just sketch it out with a paintbrush. So for today, for this bike, I'm going to be using a few different brushes. I'll be using a liner brush. I'll be using this for the lines inside the wheels. And I'll also be using this Filbert brush to make the round wheel. And I'll be using the Filbert brush along with a round brush for the handles and all the bars. the seat as well. So I'm going to start with painting the wheel, and I'm going to take burnt sienna and a little bit of yellow ochre, a little bit of black. So this is going to come up to right about here, okay? And the bottom will be right about here. It's going to be pretty big. I'm going to bring it all the way down here, and then we'll tuck the bottom in with some snow after. So it helps to just keep going around and around and around to get that nice round shape that we want. You can make it bigger at any time. You catch the paint right away. I'm going to take a little bit more, those colors again, a little bit more black. We're going to have some snow over top, so it's not a bad idea if you make your initial tire outline or circle a little thicker. And I'm just going to dab right in the middle here, a little dot to go by for the lines. So I'm going to use a long liner brush now. Just choose the appropriate size of brush for the size of canvas you're working on, right? So if you're working on a bigger canvas, then you're going to need, like me, you're going to need a longer one like this. So all I'm going to do is just place my pinky here and go in half, and then across, get some more water. And just cut into it like I'm cutting a pie. Okay, then we're going to go inside all of these and cut in again. And there's usually quite a few. So just do a whole bunch like that. Okay. And then just going to pull a line and then another line right over to here. Then we're going to have a little fender that comes out right about there, but we'll add that after. Now they're going to be a little bit thicker right here. There's almost like little dabs. Just applying little dabs, light, gentle pushes. Dab and let off. Okay, I'm going to come inside now with some white, a little bit of yellow ochre. Just follow the inside of the circle. Go around, outline the center right there, that little black dot. Okay, then I'm going to just go around right here and add the Fender in that yellow ochre and white again. It's going to come right down. We're going to go over those little lines. Come right down. And then we're going to have a little line. It's not straight up and down. It's going off a little bit right there. I'm going to take a little bit of white. And I'll go back over quickly to this black here. And we'll go over. That's going to go around. This one will go around the other side. So a line through. And then just on the outside there. Make it a little bit thicker. Okay, we're going to have a basket right here. And I'm just going to, I'll use my Filbert brush. I'll paint it first with black and burnt sienna. And we'll leave a little space. It'll be from here, we're going to just leave a little, like a 1/4 of an inch space. A little line across. And then on an angle, and then we'll pull across. And then we'll paint it in. Take just a little bit of water and thin this out. And I'm going to show you guys a really, really cool brush for making fine lines and patterns. In this case, it's like a wicker basket. So I'm going to use this Rake fan brush. And I'm going to come in with my yellow ochre, water. I'm going to go across. And then almost like little scoops here. So see, it doesn't take too much. time or effort. It's just about creating a suggestion to make it look like something. Don't get overwhelmed or intimidated and lost in all those fine details. I'm going to take a little bit of white with that yellow ochre in my brush. Sometimes just using the end of my brush, and I'm kind of swirling it across the top. Just adding little bits of highlights here. As long as you have some lines going this way and this way, it's going to look like a weaved or wicker basket. Okay, now I'm going to take some white with my liner brush. And there's going to be another little line or little bar that comes right there. This one here. Right across the bottom. So we need something that's holding this basket. So we're creating kind of like another little metal basket that holds this basket, if that makes sense. A little bit more white here to make this show up. And pull a little bit of white along those little bars. And I'm going to go ahead and add some along these lines, because it is outside in the winter. So we're going to have a little bit of snow on all the parts of the bike, or whatever parts that you want to add. It's completely up to you guys how much or how little you want to add. So I think I'm going to start painting the little Christmas tree first before we go ahead and paint the rest of the bike. And I'm going to be using a Filbert brush. Actually, I think I'm just going to use the same one that I was using before. And if I didn't mention the size before, it's a number 4. I'm going to take black with my light green. You can use sap green if you want. In fact, I was going to, but I'm actually all out of sap green right now. So you can even make a dark green by using a really cool cadmium yellow and mixing it with black. What you want to make sure you do is get all that paint out of the back of your brush after you mix. Okay, so I'm just going to take a little bit of that black and green, and I'll start it right at the top there, bring it down here, the end of my brush really loaded up. Just tap. We're going to have some snow on this tree as well, so it's okay if it looks a little bit messy. Let's switch over to a larger. This is a number 16. Now I'm going to take some white and I'm going to dab some snow. Just here and there on the branches. Add as much or as little as you want. Okay, so I want to really set the bike or the tire here in the snow. So what I'm going to do is first take some blue, just cut across with blue. And then I'm going to take white, make it look kind of lumpy. Now applying this white over top of the blue is important because I get all those different tones and shades of the blue. Then I'm going to take some more of the blue, put it on top of the tire where there would be snow. Right, the snow is probably not really going to be hitting in there. I'll apply some here as well. And then go right into my white. Kind of go over top. And then barely touching, just a light pull and drag like that will make it look like there's little bits of snow or frost on there. Now we can come in and add our ribbon. I'm going to paint the ribbon first with my crimson red and a little bit of black. We need a dark base, so we really make this ribbon 3D. So crimson red and black, get a good amount on your brush. And I'm going to add, I'll add a ribbon right here, so I'm going to add a little circle right there. A rounded triangle. Another rounded triangle, and then push, wiggle, and let off, push, wiggle, and let off. Just for the little ribbon ends. Okay, and then I'm going to take crimson red. I'm going to pull a few lines, dab the center. Reload my brush if I happen to pick up a little bit too much of the black and red. How are we doing, guys? Is everybody following along okay? Hope you guys are enjoying painting this with me. Remember to take your time. Stop, take a deep breath. Remember why you're doing this and about the enjoyment of painting. Okay, now neon red. Remember not to push too hard. Maybe we can add a few little ornaments on the tree. Let's do that. I think that would look pretty. Little red balls on the tree. A little bit more of that neon red. Okay, so now we can start working on the rest of the bike. Okay, so I'm going to take my burnt sienna yellow ochre with my Filbert brush, my number 4. You can add a little bit of black in there. All those colors right there. So what we want to do is from here, I'm going to go on a bit of an angle like this, and then we're going to bring it up. So angle and then up. Then we've got those handlebars. Pull a line and a line. And then there's just some little wires, and I don't know what the parts and the pieces are called for around the handlebar area. I'm going to add a little bit of black underneath for shadows to make it look more 3D. right across the end as well. Take a little bit more yellow ochre and apply it right there. As well as inside. Okay, then we'll work our way over. We'll start working on this line that's going to come down right about to here. So we're going to go a long line on an angle like that. Take those colors again. And then right from here, so about an inch, we need to leave room in there to add our snow. This one's going to stop and change right about there. So let's meet those lines together. Right there. Then it's going to curve over to right here. And then this one is going to go over right across where we're going to have our other tire. Okay. Easy enough, right guys? They're going to have the pedal bar, or the bar for the pedal right there. And then just a dark, we'll make it black right now so it stands out from the other bar. I'm going to go back into my burnt sienna yellow ochre. Make sure that meets right here. So our seat is going to be a little bit lower than the handlebars. It's going to go off the canvas. We can't see all of it. Take my yellow ochre, go over the top. There we go. And then I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger and make it come out a little bit further here. Add a little bit of burnt sienna and some black underneath here for shadow. A little bit more black now. There we go. And we're going to go on an angle right from there. Let's pull over here. Another bar goes across here. I'm going to make the pedal down here a little bit wider now. So just think a little rectangle, black rectangle, just like that. And then sort of just blend that out. I was going to use my finger, but I don't want my finger covered in black paint. Our tire is going to be smaller looking, and it's going to be higher up than this one, just from the angle that it's on. I'm going to start it right here. Okay, then I want to take my yellow ochre. I'm going to go partially over that black. Then I'm going to take some white. I'm going to pull that inside as well. And because we've got that fender that stops right about here, I'm just going to make that a little bit thicker so it sticks out from the rest. Now let's not forget the bar goes across in front. I'm going to add a few lines first before I bring that bar over. But we're just going to go over the lines of these bars now with that yellow ochre, white, the colors that we used up here. I'm going to go over all of that. Now I chose these colors specifically because I knew that it would be complementary with the blue. But you could paint your bike any color that you want. A red bike would look really, really festive and pretty. Okay, get my brush loaded up again. Hope you guys are enjoying my channel here and all my tutorials. I love teaching, inspiring, and just helping to bring the joy of painting to your life if you haven't discovered it yet. It's such a wonderful way to spend time with your family too. I encourage you guys to have painting nights with your family and friends. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more burnt sienna now to the seat here. And we're going to add some snow to the seat. I just want to have a little bit more right in there. I can carefully come in here and take a little bit more of that black off before I add everything else. So I'm going to go over to my liner brush again. Make sure I have water and a little bit of black. Any kind of color that's going to, one of these dark colors or all of them that's going to show up. And I'll just start adding some faint lines in here. There's actually going to be a lot going on in this area because we've got the gears in and around here. So there's going to be a circle. A circle back here. I guess, you know, I could have painted this before I came in with the bars, but that doesn't really matter, especially because we're working on a snow scene. So we're gonna kind of just camouflage and hide any imperfections with adding some snow. And then this one's gonna come a little bit more on an angle like that. Need to adjust that a little bit because it's supposed to go underneath and wrap around. A little circle there, isn't it? So you can see how you fix mistakes in your paintings. I mention it that I like to leave that in. I'm not going to edit that out. Okay, and I'm still using this Filbert brush. I was using a smaller brush, but I'm going to use this right now to add the snow. And maybe there's a bar the same color as these bars. Then I'm going to go over and put these bars back in front. Okay, and I'm going to add some blue before we add the white for our snow. I'm going to add some blue snow for a shadow. And with a white. See how much I've got on my brush here? I'm going to add some to the seat here. I'll take my white, kind of turning my brush over flat. Let's not forget about the petal here. I'll add a little bit of snow on there as well. Blue first and then some white. I'll add a little bit on the gear. going to take some white here. I'll apply fresh coat. Some of my paintbrushes out of the way, so I stop knocking them. And let's take a little bit more here. Add a little bit of blue here and there now. A little bit more blue, a little bit more white. Build up the snow. A lot of times people like to decorate old things. I've seen this with bikes at Christmas time with the lights. People get really creative with their Christmas decorating, and I just love it. I'm going to take a little bit of that neon red, a little bit of white, just, oops. I'm going to reapply some of that. Sometimes when the paint is not totally dry and it's really thick, it can kind of pull off like it just did there. So let me just, it's so easy, just go right back and add it there. Just a little bit of little bits of white. I'll add a little bit more blue. Or take a little bit of black, burnt sienna, and just go underneath here to make this stand out a little bit more. Then back over to my round brush, a little bit of white, yellow ochre. Okay, I think to finish this painting off, I'm gonna add some snow using a toothbrush. What you want to do is get it really wet, just dunk it in the water, and then take your white. I'm using titanium, you can use any white. Gently and evenly load the bottom of it by scrubbing it around. And then turn it over, place your thumb here, and pull and flick and spray snow wherever you want. If you want some of your snowflakes to look a little bit bigger, use a little bit more water in your brush. Okay, I'm just going to finish this off by adding a little bit more of my white. Just a little touch of white right there. Okay, this painting is all done. Thanks so much for joining me for this one today. This was so much fun. And I'll see you all soon in my next video. Bye, everybody.